Okay, so now to start talking about some Halloween horror movies. And I'm going to start off with one I had never really finished before, The Blair Witch Project. Some kind of background to this, I guess. I had seen the first 30 minutes of The Blair Witch Project way back like a decade ago. But my brother kicked me out of the room we were watching it in because of all the cursing, and I was young at the time, so I wasn't really allowed to hear that as much. So my overall impression was that it was a boring movie where people cursed a lot. So that was my impression going in, and then you kind of have the divisive opinion of everybody else on this movie, and just I'm thinking this movie is going to not be that great, but I want to review and watch it because I need to have a proper opinion on it. And I finally watched it, and here are my thoughts. I'll start with the acting first, which I thought was actually surprisingly good. I've heard some people say it was good, some people say it was bad. I thought it was going to be more middle of the road, but oddly enough, I think the three actors playing the three main characters did a good and admirable job of carrying this film. They are what moves the story along. You are with them the majority of the time. There are brief appearances by other actors, but they're not in it that much. They do a decent enough job, but like I said, it is the trio that is the core of this movie. And they actually have a decent amount of chemistry. Even if sometimes they're held back, that chemistry is a little held back by the stupid decisions their own characters make. But that's not the fault of the actors, that's just the fault of poor screenwriting. They do portray the growing split of this trio really well, and make it seem as if they are beginning to grow to fear for their lives. Like I said, I just find this a very commendable acting performance by all three of the main cast. Just, like I said, they are a little held back by the characters. But overall, solid acting, and I was pleased by that. The cinematography, what do you expect? It's an actual found footage movie. So there's no, like, atmospheric shots of the landscape somehow in that. There's nothing, no music added or anything. It's just people walking around with cameras, and not in the why is this so good video quality? These are crappy cameras for the most part. The documentary camera they use really kind of adds to the overall kind of mockumentary feel of the entire thing. These people are trying to make a documentary, and it's kind of funny seeing them try to be all serious on the documentary. At least Heather. Um, so overall, I actually like the camera work, even if it's like all over the place. It does give you a good feeling of the setting and the situation that these characters are in. You can see they capture enough of the surroundings and characters to give you that impression. And it does its best to feel real, even if it doesn't always succeed in this, like the fact that there aren't any animals nearby. You never see an animal. Though that could be playing into the horror aspect as well too. Probably they didn't want any animals nearby, but that could be added into the horror aspect, so that's a good thing there. I think it also adds an overall sense of unease, because most of the time you can only see what the characters see. It's not like other horror movies where you get to see what's in the background that the character doesn't see. So you're like, oh, you don't see anything, so you're just hearing stuff like this. You're kind of experiencing with them. And then you sometimes don't even see what the characters themselves are seeing because they can look that way or that way and not have to look through their camera. You only get to look through a camera. So you are just left wondering what the hell they're seeing, which can work in some cases and not work in some other movies. I think it works over here overall pretty good here. There was apparently a original scene where they were supposed to show the witch, but they didn't turn the camera. So you don't really get to see the witch, but I think that kind of adds to it. Not seeing it is actually effective in this movie. Because of how cheap it is, they kind of got to go with your playing with your imagination there. So overall, I do like the camera work, and I think it's effective. The one weakness of this movie, other than some things saying that, the main weak point of this movie is its story and characters. The story does carry on a good and fast pace, but the characters just get so annoying in their decisions, and they're so stupid, and you just really find it hard to empathize with these people sometimes. Heather's character is a little bit better on dealing with this because she does get a little fleshed out here and there. You kind of get the impression that this is very important for her, and she's using the camera to kind of just cope with her situation. You can kind of understand that more. You might not agree that's a good or smart decision, but you understand that. Mike and Josh, however, don't really get as well fleshed out as that. So that kind of lacks in that department, and so you're just thinking they're douchebags. But it does give you enough sense of like that they're cracking under this current terrible situation they're in, which I think is something that most people can empathize with. So, and you can really understand that. Like I said, though, they are lacking in development, and the annoyance of the stupid decisions by a character do hurt the movie a bit, but not enough for me to not enjoy it. Um, the scares in this movie vary in effectiveness, and only a few really had any effect on me. There was nothing that made me go, "Ah!" But there were some that did manage to get a little under my skin, and I enjoyed that. When whatever the hell is outside their tent is just messing with their tent, and you just see kind of hands moving along it, and you're just seeing from like the camera perspective, it works fine, and they're just forced to flee out and wait there all night. And then later on, when you just hear Josh screaming in the middle of the night, you don't know where he is, and they can't find him, and you just continuously hear him screaming. That's a good effect. And you just hear rocks being stacked in the middle of the night earlier in the movie too. And so some effectiveness there. It's just overall not completely scary, but it does have some effectiveness. The ending, everybody basically knows the ending, but if you don't, I won't spoil it. But it works with what they set up in the film itself. But I do understand people's disappointment with it, because it is maybe a little lackadaisical and just kind of flat ending. But it works for a horror film, and I've seen enough found footage movies to be used to that. This maybe kind of was one of the ones that started that trope, or at least carried it on. And I don't necessarily always like it, but I think it works well enough here, and it does kind of just make you go, what happened? And again, making you use your imagination, which is what the low budget of this movie seeks to do, and I like that. Overall, I actually really like this movie. I was not expecting to like it. My expectations were that it was going to be meh or really bad, and it does have some limitations with budget, screenplay, just the overall lack of an ability to really be scary. But it actually had enough quality to keep me engaged again and again. And some scenes actually got me a little, didn't really scare me, but did creep me out or chill me a little bit. And I always appreciate that. You don't have to absolutely scare me in a horror film. You just have to entertain me long enough and actually give me some creeps here and there, and that can work. It doesn't make you a horror classic or anything, but it does make you a slightly effective and enjoyable horror movie. And that's why I would say what this is. If you go into this movie expecting an absolute horror classic, I don't think you're going to get that. There are some people who think it is. I disagree a lot. But I do think it is a decent horror movie. And it is really, really short. At 80 minutes, it does not take much of your life. Some people may find it boring, and really boring 80 minutes. I didn't, and so I think it is worth checking out. Just don't go in expecting to be scared. Like, absolutely. And other than that, nothing to really say, but I'll catch you later.